And we are back with episode 5. Thank you so much for continuing the adventure with me. It's always better to play these games with friends, and the time and the interest that you're giving this game and my interesting playthrough. As you may recall, we left off here speaking with the second brother, and it looks like the main storyline is going to split into 2 sections. He is definitely the more serious of the two, at least on the surface. We're so early in that who knows what's going to happen. Kind of makes you wonder how they're staying so warm. Castles are notorious for being very drafty, and while they... Oh, yes, well, a little bit of a blip here. We're going to go out and do some side quests, a little bit more exploration, get to know the place a little bit more. But castles were notorious for being very damp and drafty. In fact, many of the reasons for putting rugs on the floor or tapestries on the wall was to help preserve heat. It is nice that this game breaks the fantasy stereotype by having the effective elf race be the ones who live in the mountains and are expert masons, as opposed to the dwarves or their closest kinfolk in whatever game they're in. In Song of Fire and Ice, or aka Game of Thrones, the castle in the north actually is protected against the long winters, the long, cold, multi-year winters, because it's built over a hot spring that actually pumps the hot spring water through the walls, keeping the residents inside very warm. And I believe that extended out at least a little bit into the village beyond. This has got to have been a very rough transition for the people of Ishgard, and really anyone who lives in Coerthas, just because the calamity of 5 years ago, oh, nice hat, so fundamentally transformed their lives. And I get the sense that people are trying to live like they did before in spite of it, but ooh, that's going to be a tough battle to fight. And of course, they have their beef with Dravanians, the dragons, the houses. Each of the major houses have qualms with each other in some form or fashion. Of course, this is a very religiously devout state, and it's been isolated for so long that outsiders were the first in quite a while. We're just kind of not supposed to look at the other people. Nope. See, little bits like that just help flesh out the world that much more. What I'm really curious about, and pardon me for talking over the local side questing here, is just which direction the storyline is going to go. Because at the end of the 2.x series, we were facing so many different threats. The Asians, the Garlean Empire, the Beastmen and Primals, the treachery that was going on within the city-states, if they weren't just outright, fighting or... Oh, look at you. Kudos to you, sir. I tip my Moogle hat to you. Anyway, all this is going on. There's so many different threats, so many different things that are happening, and it really almost seemed overwhelming. Because, too, the dragons were always a threat. And that seems to be at the forefront, but still, in those cutscenes, we saw the Ascians were by the Archbishop, whispering in his ear. And the Korthans, or the Ishgardians, don't really care for the Beastmen. The Ixals don't. There's really not a war because they're not necessarily in Ishgardian territory. I don't know. There's a lot here to do. Oh. But you know what? Conquering the larger problems of the world does start with your own backyard. If we can help out the, as the game calls them, small folk here, then slowly, over time, we'll be able to take on bigger and better challenges. Especially as, hey, we're getting some experience points. Level 51, here I come. Hey, you want to hang out? I'm about your size. Alright, taking a look around. Mm-hmm. Should be, oh, more text. Well, you have fine tastes, expensive tastes, and redundant tastes. Hello, sir. Oh, look at that. You are offering an onion. That is interesting, and I bet that's going to drop the price of onions. If this is a quest, yeah, this is an open quest for everyone. I don't think you've gotten to meet my chocobo. That onion will be put to good use here in a little while after he gets his next level. It's always interesting when they give you the big wide area to search for a person or a thing. You can get lost and just sort of derp around for a little bit, as I'm doing. Bag of chocobo feed. Bag of chocobo feed. Fodder. Where are you? Hey. Lo and behold, it's the shiny thing, very obviously placed right beside me. Alright, make our delivery. As you run around yourself, don't be afraid to grab any of the quests that are around. The way they're set up really makes them, I don't want to say interchangeable. The areas you go to will often overlap in some way. So that while you're completing a quest in one area, you may be working towards another one at the same time. I think you can hold up to a dozen quests or so active. So there's really no reason not to run around and get this done. It's roleplay experience, it's experience points for whatever job you're doing. Ding. And hey, it's an opportunity to spend a little bit more time together too. Yep, that's not the way. No. Going around the long way again. Oh, there we are. Let's turn you in. And a stone skin for you. Hello, Lala friend. Are you there? Nope. Keep on keeping on, little one. Okay. And something's going on here. Remember in one of the prior ones, I observed that wherever there's a group of people just standing around is probably a quest location of some kind. Anything. Yeah, I'm really curious to see when I do. And there you go. So yeah, upgrading to a solid state. I don't know if I've really been able to find any solid numbers, but the general sentiment is that it's better for loading times. Oh. Okay. You know, I've not really done too much with desynthing. Things like that might be a good opportunity. And if this quest doesn't scream lore, I don't know what does. Data doesn't, because he's not passionate enough. If you get that, you are a nerd. And that's pretty cool. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. You are who you are, and you like what you like. See if we can... Everything's so tall here. Well, I guess if we're going to speak of being who you are and following your passions and pursuits. And it's about that time, so thank you for going on another portion of the Icy Adventure with me. I look forward to next quest with you. Take care, and goodbye.